Hi there, welcome back to English Hero, and right now we are going to have another topic, or a new topic, should I say, and we're going to have punctuations. So let's talk about punctuations. Punctuations are very important, should I say, because it gives you an idea where to stop and where to pause, and the proper way of, establishing a good communication because you know the proper punctuations. Okay? So, punctuations does have or do have different kinds. So, we do have common punctuations. We have period, we have question marks, and exclamation marks, commas. Alright, but the question is, do we really know their functions, or do we know the rules of using these punctuations in our spoken communication or written communication? So let's try to discover, okay, or let's try to refresh our knowledge about punctuations. First, let's talk about in this video, by the way, we're going to talk two punctuations or common punctuations. That's going to be period and comma. For period, this punctuation is used to end the sentence, of course, and also to indicate abbreviations and also ellipsis and decimal. Ellipsis is kind of not so similar because it's a combination of at least 3 periods. Later on, I'll discuss this one. Okay, so first, or the primary function of period is to put an end or end a sentence. It's like a knife. You have to cut your sentence out. Okay? So, for example, if you say Jeremy is an intelligent scholar of Daredevil Hero. Period. Okay, that's already a sentence. Okay, maybe I need to write it down for you. So Jeremy, this is just an example, is an intelligent scholar of Daredevil Hero. So this sentence alone, as we all know, sentence is composed with subject and a predicate. Okay, so it could be more than 2 subjects, more than 1 subject, more than 2, or more than 1 predicates. So in this sentence, we have Jeremy as our subject. We have only 1 subject, and is an intelligent scholar of Daredevil Hero is our complete predicate. Okay, so we need to put an end of this sentence because it's good. It's a good sentence because it has a subject and a predicate. So you have to put an end of that idea or thought in that sentence. All right. It also, for a period, it also indicates abbreviation, as we all know. For example, what's the abbreviation of barangay? Anyone? What's the abbreviation of barangay? You know abbreviation? It's a shortened word. That's BRGY. And then you have to put period, so as to indicate that this word is still a word, but it's just an abbreviated word of a certain word, which is barangay. Okay? Let's have another example of abbreviations. Anyone who can give me an abbreviation? Oh, let's have this one. Department. Department. Who can give me the abbreviation, the abbreviation of department? Anyone? It's DEPT. Department. Okay? So you have to put a period because that's an abbreviation of a certain word. Another function of period is ellipsis. Now, as what I mentioned earlier, ellipsis is not really different, but yeah, Yeah, it's completely different with the period, because ellipsis composed of 3 periods actually. So let's say, okay, I went to my friend's house. Okay, I went to my friend's house and then I put 3 dots, or 3 periods rather. Okay, or farther. Okay, so these 3 periods here is what we call the ellipsis. Okay, what does ellipsis mean? Ellipsis, if you see an ellipsis in a certain phrase, that means you are there's a preceding, no, not preceding, but there's a following, what can I say, action or incident happen. So when I say, I went to my friend's house, okay, usually this is commonly used if you are writing something, writing a story, writing a novel. So it gives a reader to somehow think of like what's gonna happen, or what happened next after this certain incident. So that's what ellipsis means. So most writers use these punctuation ellipses just to give excitement, or just a surprise, or just to give the reader the benefit of judging as to what will happen next. Yes, but eventually the actions will be exposed by the writer in the later part of the story. Yes, that's what ellipsis important. That's how important rather ellipsis is rather. Okay, so I went to my friend's house and then period, period, period. It's not a period, but it's what we call ellipsis. Okay. Period also is used, especially for math. They use this one as a decimal point. We call it decimal point in mathematics term, but in English it's period. So it's like, for example, say for example, can you give me a certain amount? Peso, 10 peso, decimal 50. So if you're going to read this one in math, you would say 10 peso and 50. 10 pesos and 50 centavos. So period here stands for and. Okay? 10 pesos and 50 centavos. So that's one role of a period, punctuation period. Okay? Now let's move on with comma. Now as we all know, common knowledge, we use comma to separate, okay? This is used to separate words and phrases. Okay? When we say words, it could be, adjectives. It could be a verb. It could be a noun or a pronoun. Okay? So we use comma to separate words and phrases, and also it is used in enclosing details. Okay? When we say details, oh, by the way, before we move on to this, for phrases, we have participial phrases. For example, hearing him nagging his daughter. Hearing him. Okay, let me write it down for you. Hearing him angrily nagging his daughter, I hurriedly went home. Okay, so hearing him angrily nagging his daughter, actually this is what we call participial phrase because of this verb, ing form of the verb, which is hearing. Okay, so this is what we call participial phrase. So if you use participial phrase to start in a sentence, like this, hearing him angrily nagging his daughter, you have to put proper punctuation, and that should be comma. Okay? I hurriedly went home. Okay? So, that's how important comma is. You have to put a comma to indicate that there is an action, or there is a certain event that's going to happen next. Okay? Compared to ellipsis, it's not really shown. It's not revealed. The certain event, okay, that happened. But with the comma, you have to reveal what happened next because you use a comma. Okay? So hearing him angrily nagging his daughter, comma, I hurriedly went home. Okay? For enclosing details, this is an example. Okay, one moment. Let me erase this first. For enclosing details, for example, you want to tell more about the subject. Okay, for example, Dare demo hero a non-profit organization Dare demo hero, a non-profit organization, held a mini concert yesterday. Okay, so we have here, which one is our subject? Dare demo hero, right? Dare demo hero is our subject. A non-profit organization held a mini concert yesterday. Now, talking about enclosing details, you are trying to talk about Dare demo hero, which is our subject here. So, with this, because when you say Dare demo hero, a non-profit organization, it's a noun phrase already. But this one here is an enclosing detail already, okay, of Dare demo hero. So you need to put a comma, okay. Usually, enclosing details, you're just going to tell more about the subject, tell more about that thing or person or whatever that noun or pronoun you're talking about in your sentence. So you have to put a comma, okay. That's what enclosing details mean. For tag questions, of course, for example, tag questions, you can give me, tag questions like, you're hungry, aren't you? So you say, you are hungry. You are hungry. You are hungry. You have to put a comma. Aren't you? Of course, question mark. Sorry, I have to erase this. So there's a comma there. You are hungry, aren't you? Okay. We'll talk more about tag questions later in my coming videos. Okay. So that's it. That's the role of period and commas in our sentences. That's how important they are. Okay. Okay. Last part that we're going to discuss is the wrong way of using a comma. You've got to be careful, not just the comma, but the rest of the punctuations. Okay. But let's try to have this one. Okay. Let's try to figure out the mistake. I detest liars like you. I believe that honesty is the best policy. Okay. Now, do you think this statement is correct? Do you think this statement uses correct comma? Proper placement of comma rather. No, it's not. The answer is no, it's not. No, because when you say I detest liars and then like you, I believe. So if you say that way, I detest liars like you, I believe that honesty is the best policy, the listener would misunderstand you. Okay? So it's like the liars like you and I. You and I are liars. Right? So you say, I detest liars like you and I believe that honesty is still the best part. It doesn't make sense. Okay? So where do we put the comma then? If we're going to erase this because this is wrong. I detest liars like you. Very good. So we have to put the comma here. I detest liars like you. I believe that honesty is still the best policy. It makes sense, right? So who's the liar now? Like you. All right. Not including me. Okay. So I detest liars like you. I believe that honesty is still the best policy. There you have it. That ends our lesson about period and comma. In my next video, we're going to talk about the functions or the roles of question mark, exclamation mark, and the quotation mark. Okay? I'll see you next time in my next video. Have a nice day, everyone, and bye-bye.